Ever stumble on something online and it just sticks with you? Like, it just makes you wonder if you've got it all figured out, you know?
I know the feeling. It's amazing how one video can stir up so much buzz. People are skeptical, others are curious, and some, well, let's just say they're a little creeped out.
Okay, so you sent this video over the Penrose hallway, and wow, it really kind of got under my skin. Not, like a horror movie jump scare kind of way, but there's this atmosphere, right? Like this feeling of something being off, and it sticks with you. I don't know if you felt that.
Yeah, definitely. It's eerie, but in a very subtle way.
Right. And it's funny because, like, logically, we know this can't be real. But it still messes with you, you know?
Totally. It's like our brain knows it's impossible, but some deeper part of us is still freaked out.
It's like trying to figure out a magic trick, isn't it? You're looking for the strings, the mirrors, how they pull it off, and that's what we're doing today. Someone holding their phone, just a single shot, no fancy edits, just them reaching for this door, and they open it, and there's this hallway. Totally normal looking.
And that's where things go sideways.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics, yeah? What's in this video that's setting us on edge? For me, it's the setting itself. It's so mundane. Like, this could be anyone.
What makes it creepier, though, right?
Right. Like, you got the stained carpet, piles of old furniture. There's even a painting of a doorway that seems, like, almost ominous looking back. It's familiar, but in a way that makes the weirdness even worse.
You're hitting on something really interesting, this idea of the uncanny valley.
Okay, like those creepy robot videos that everyone hates.
Exactly. We usually think of it with faces. Things that look almost human, but not quite. But the uncanny valley can apply to environments, too. Like you said, this room is relatable. We've all probably been in a similar space. But then, bam, impossible hallway. Total curveball.
It's the juxtaposition, the normal with the totally inexplicable.
Right, and that clash is what makes it unsettling, even on a subconscious level.
Totally agree. And this is before we even get to the hallway, right? There are all these little details that build that mystery. The glimpse of the sunset out the window, for one, you can't tell where this is, just adds to the whole mystery box vibe. And then there's that red door.
Ah, the red door. See, that, whether intentional or not, is great foreshadowing. It's like visually, it's priming us, right?
Yeah.
Our brains are like, okay, something's different about that door, so when the impossible happens, it's even more jarring.
It plays right into those expectations.
So red door opens. And there it is, the hallway.
Here we go.
It's not like super long, maybe 25 feet, kind of narrow. And the wallpaper, oh man, like straight out of your grandma's house.
The floral patterns, yeah, I saw those.
And you've got these weird sounds, right, as they're walking down, like this kind of grinding. I don't even know how to describe it, but it adds to that whole off-kilter vibe. Those noises, even though they're quiet, it's playing on that primal fear of the unknown, right? Makes you wonder, like, what's behind the walls? Something waiting at the end of the hall.
Spooky.
I like it.
And then, of course, the whole reason we're here, they get to the end, open another red door, and bam, right back in the room. Same window, same everything. It's like, what? Did I just... How?
Exactly. It makes you want to watch it again and again. But even then, you're not going to see the trick,
Like a glitch in the Matrix or something. But that's what makes these illusions so cool, right?
Exactly. They make us question what we see, what we think we know.
Totally. So how do they do that? Like, in this case, are we talking like forced perspective, that kind of thing?
It's possible. And that's what I love about this video. It's so well done. You can't tell how they did it.
And what's so weird is how simple it is. Like, it's a hallway. We all use hallways every day. But by messing with that one simple thing, it makes you question, like, every building you've ever been in.
It does. And on top of that, this video, it's unresolved, right? We don't get an answer. Who filmed this? What was the point? Is there a real version of this hallway somewhere?
And because of that, our brains, they keep going, don't they?
They do. They want an answer. So we start filling in the blanks, our own fears, our own interpretations.
Which, in a way, makes it even more effective, right? Because now it's not just a video, it's our version of the story in our heads.
Exactly. And that, I think, is the power of this. Whether they meant to do it or not.
Yeah.
It makes you curious, makes you think, and even if you walk away a little creeped out, there's still that sense of wonder, too.
Wonder and a little bit of, I'm never looking at a hallway the same way again.
Right. Like every door could lead to. Who knows?
Exactly. So when I saw this, it's like, am I looking at a real life attempt at those Penrose stairs? You know, the ones?
Yeah, like that's the first thing that came to mind for me too. The Penrose stairs, for anyone who maybe hasn't gone down that rabbit hole, are like the classic impossible object.
Right. Like, it makes sense as a drawing, but you could never build that.
Exactly. Two-dimensional drawing, staircase, seems to go up and up forever. But in our 3D world, Nope, can't exist.
And this video, it's like they watched the same thing I did and were like, but what if?
Right. It's like playing with those same ideas, impossible geometry, messing with perspective. Really well done, too.
It does mess with you, I'll give it that. I remember as a kid, I was obsessed with those optical illusions. And the Penrose stairs were always my favorite. Like, how can something be so right and so wrong at the same time? What is our brain doing when we see that?
Well, it all boils down to how our brains actually process what we see. We're constantly taking in information, trying to make sense of the world.
Sure, make it make sense.
And our brains, they love patterns, right? They want order out of chaos.
Yeah.
So something like the Penrose stairs or this hallway, our brain's trying to fit it into what it knows about how spaces should work.
And it short circuits.
Yeah. The whole picture is nonsensical, creates a conflict, and that's where that uneasy feeling comes in.
It's like, okay, this is going to sound weird, but you ever get that feeling you walk into a room and you're like, I've totally been here before, but you know you haven't.
Yeah.
It's like that, but instead of familiar, it's just wrong.
You're right. It's that same part of the brain probably, trying to make sense of conflicting information. Like you said, our brains crave consistency. And when that's broken, when the rules don't apply, it's unsettling.
Big time.
Deep Dive is brought to you in part by Squarespace. Create a professional-looking website in just a few clicks.
And there's a website, it's called The Penrose Hallway and Other Mysteries.
Okay.
And it's trying to make sense of this whole thing, this whole video.
What makes this so interesting is, well, this website, it's not just like, you know, some blurry photo of Bigfoot or something. They've got what look like research papers, like actual research papers, notes, even like architectural drawings.
Really?
Yeah. And it's all tied to this physicist, this guy named Reginald Penrose.
Okay.
So we got to figure out, is this hallway? Is it really some kind of portal to another dimension or what?
Right. Like, how does just a video of a hallway, how does that even get people talking about parallel universes? I don't, the website goes into the video, you know, like frame by frame and talks about all the different theories. Some are totally normal, like maybe it's just two identical rooms or some trick with the camera.
Yeah.
But then there are these others way out there, right? That it's CGI.
Oh, wow.
But like so good, so real that like James Cameron would be impressed.
Okay, so speaking of real, you remember that painting in the video?
The painting.
Yeah, it looked like, I don't know, something you'd find at a garage sale.
Yeah.
Well, the website, they found a photograph, and get this, it's of a property owned by, you guessed it, Reginald Penrose.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
What are the chances?
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about this Reginald Penrose. He wasn't exactly, you know, your typical physicist, right?
Oh, not at all. So while other physicists were, I don't know, chasing research grants, publishing papers, Penrose, he was kind of obsessed with these things called liminal planes.
Liminal planes. Okay, so what are those?
Basically, think parallel dimensions, but existing outside of, you know, how we normally think about time.
Yeah, like layers of existence stacked on top of ours.
All right, so we're already in Twilight Zone territory, but it gets weirder, right? It gets weirder.
Oh, yeah. Penrose, he didn't just think these liminal planes were some theory. He thought they were real, like actual places.
Really?
He was convinced that certain places, certain structures acted like gateways or bridges. You had to find these hidden nexus points.
Nexus points, okay.
And get this, he actually started buying properties, like all over the world.
Wait.
Supposedly to, you know, study these gateways and keep them safe or something like that.
Wait, hold on. This guy was buying real estate for interdimensional travel.
I know.
That's dedication.
That's one way to put it, yeah. A lot of people in the scientific community, they thought he was, I don't know.
A little out there.
You know, maybe a little eccentric, maybe even a little crazy. But what if, and stay with me here, what if he was actually onto something?
And so that brings us back to this video, to this hallway, the hallway that seems to like break all the rules. And the website, they actually go through it like frame by frame and point out all these weird things, like there are identical carpet stains in both rooms. And that's almost impossible to fake, even with, you know, really good CGI.
That's true.
And it makes you wonder, like, what if there is something more to it? And this is where Penrose's ideas about consciousness come in, because he thought that these liminal planes, they weren't just, you know, other dimensions, not just physical places. He said they were actually shaped by the person's mind, by their consciousness.
Oh, interesting.
It's different for every single person who goes in. Like a nightmare or something.
Imagine a hallway,
right?
But but it reflects all your childhood fears for someone else.
Oh my gosh.
It's completely different.
That's creepy. But okay, let's say this Penrose hallway, let's say it's real. Okay, let's say it's a real nexus point. Why haven't other people found it? I mean, with everybody in their phones, always taking pictures, you'd think someone else would have stumbled across it by now.
Right.
You'd think with all the Instagrammers out there, someone would have, snapped a selfie with the upside down by now.
Well, that's the thing about Penrose's theories. They really make you rethink everything you thought you knew about the universe. He said that these nexus points, these entry points, they could be affected by pretty much anything. Time of day, like certain alignments.
Alignments.
Yeah, even a person's mood.
So you're telling me, like, my chances of walking into another dimension, it all comes down to whether or not I've had my coffee that morning.
Well, Penrose did say that these liminal spaces were connected to our subconscious, to our, deepest fears and desires.
Okay.
And he even said that there might be, things, entities that live in those planes.
Hold on. Entities. Okay, now we're going full on Stranger Things here. Like what kind of entities? Are we talking like ghosts or interdimensional beings or what?
Honestly, Penrose, he was always kind of vague about what these entities were, but he was very clear that these liminal planes, they're dangerous. He said they were unpredictable and could even be hostile.
So not the kind of place you want to bring a picnic basket to then?
Probably not, unless you've got a taste for adventure. And that's where the whole idea of these nexus points, these gateways being so hard to find, that's where it all comes in, you see.
Okay.
Think of it like this. These liminal planes, they're like uncharted islands, right, in this sea of reality. And these nexus points, they're like, I don't know, like hidden currents.
Wow.
Or sandbars.
That's a really good analogy, yeah.
They make it almost impossible to reach those islands, to find them.
Okay, that's a really good way to think about it. But if Penrose was so secretive about all of this, how come there's a whole website about his work? And who are all these people sending in pictures of doorways and stuff?
Well, that's another piece of the puzzle. Remember all that real estate Penrose bought? Well, it turns out he left a trail. Notes, drawings, maybe even blueprints, all pointing to the fact that he was trying to map these nexus points.
Really?
Yeah, he wanted to figure out how they worked.
So it's like he wanted someone to pick up where he left off, to kind of continue his work, his research.
Exactly. And this website, it's become like a meeting place for anyone who wants to do just that from, all over the world. Alleyways that seem to go on forever, doorways that lead to nowhere, staircases that seem to defy gravity. Like everyone's looking for these gateways to other dimensions.
I gotta say, for a while there, I was ready to say this whole thing was like a big hoax. But the more we talk about it, the more I have to wonder, is there a part of us that wants to believe? That there's more to reality than what we can see, what we can touch?
I think deep down, we all want to believe in the impossible. To find something, something amazing, something mysterious in a world that can feel so ordinary sometimes. This Penrose hallway, whether it's real or not, it speaks to that desire.
That's true.
The website, they get it too. They present all this information, but they don't try to tell you what to think,
Right.
They give you the theories, the evidence, they show you what doesn't add up, and then they let you decide.
So what does it all mean? This whole Penrose thing, the hallway, the liminal planes, was it all just a product of his imagination? Or was there something more, something real but hidden?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And honestly, there's no easy answer. Maybe Penrose did find something. Maybe these other planes of existence are real. Or maybe, just maybe, the human mind is more powerful and more terrifying than we ever imagined.
Wow. That's a lot to unpack. This whole thing, it's like a hall of mirrors, isn't it? You're trying to find the truth, but every reflection just leads you further down the rabbit hole.
Right?
Let's say someone's listening to us right now and they're like totally hooked on this whole thing. They want to, maybe do their own research, maybe even like go looking for these nexus points themselves.
Right.
Where would they even, how would they even begin?
Well, the website's a good place to start. They've got, tons of info, like detailed breakdowns of that Penrose hallway video, articles about, liminal spaces and like altered states of consciousness, even a guide on, how to maybe spot these nexus points.
So if you're the kind of person who likes things a little wow, a little strange and unusual. Or maybe you've always felt like you were meant for something more. Maybe this is like your sign to check it out. Because you never know. You just never know what you might find on the other side of that door.
Totally. And it speaks to like something in us, right? We want to be amazed, even if it means being a little creeped out at the same time. And speaking of which, this video, it screams like mystery box marketing to me.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That vibe is strong with this one.
Like this could be a teaser for a new movie, a video game.
Oh, yeah.
Some company saw this liminal space trend going around online and was like, let's get weird.
Which, by the way, another layer to why this works so well. Like, liminal spaces on their own, empty parking lots, those abandoned malls everyone's obsessed with taking pictures in, already kind of creepy. This is like the digital version of that, a place outside the normal rules.
You got it. And the fact that we don't know who made this or why, that just adds to it, right? Are they just messing with our heads? Is it art? A puzzle for the internet to solve.
This has been a fun one. Thank you. I always learn something new with these. Any final thoughts before we let everyone get back to their, hopefully, normal hallways?
Just this, and maybe this is something for everyone listening to think about too. If you were going to design an impossible space, what would it be? What would you want people to feel when they walked through it?
Ooh, okay, I like that. A challenge for our listeners. What impossible spaces are you dreaming up? Let us know. And with that, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the Penrose hallway. Until next time, keep exploring the strange side of the internet and maybe keep an eye on those hallways.
You might be the one to finally solve the mystery of the Penrose hallway.
You never know.
If you want to impress clients and friends with a fancy website of your own, Squarespace makes it easy. Sign up today with code Penrose for 10% off your first month.